I feel like JJ Watt has to be a little bit annoyed, right? I mean, he only played in 8 games his past 2 seasons, and he was able to break out and have another 16-sack season, only to get overshadowed by Andrew Luck, basically doing the exact same thing but as a quarterback. I never in a million years thought that JJ Watt's comeback story would be overshadowed, but that is kind of what ended up happening. And not only that, but it happens to a quarterback who's in JJ Watt's division. But the reality is, it really is great to have JJ Watt back. One of the things I love about Watt is his speed. Like, take a look at this play, for example. As you see, that's where Watt is on the screen, and the Jaguars are going to be paying him a little bit of extra attention here. They're going to have a receiver start off blocking him and then run a route, which should give a little bit of time for the Jaguars' right tackle to move farther back, where he'd be in better position to try to block Watt. So Watt's going to see this and actually do something slightly different. He's going to then run to the bottom half of the screen. So there's a couple of interesting things to talk about here. Jaguars' right tackle is simply going to be focused on blocking Watt and keeping that middle of the pocket clean. This means that Watt could either try to get through him or try to get underneath him, which is actually what he's going to end up doing. So typically this would mean that Bortles can simply move up in the pocket and Watt wouldn't be able to get to him as quickly, as he would have to run all the way around, and it would take him a lot longer to get to Bortles, giving Bortles plenty of time to throw an interception. However, what you're going to see Watt do here is just run so quickly that Bortles can't even see him, and he's able to tackle Bortles and get a sack out of it. Bortles simply just didn't have the time to move up in the pocket because Watt just moved so quickly. Watt's really great out of that 9 technique, and take a look at this play where he's doing the same thing. He's on the outside and he's going to be crashing in. New York's going to have their right tackle be attempting to block Watt, and as you see at this point, he's not doing too bad of a job. Ideally, what you would like to do here is put your right hand on JJ Watt's left rib cage, and then put your left hand on JJ Watt's right bicep, which will move up to the shoulder pad, which will give you good position to try to push Watt back. However, notice how good of a job Watt does here of not twisting his shoulders. He keeps his shoulders pretty much going the same way this entire play. The reason why this is crucial is because if he twists his shoulders back, it'll make things a lot easier for that Jets right tackle to get his hand placement in a good position, and Watt would be in a much worse position to try to now get to the quarterback. As you see, since Watt's shoulders didn't move, this now means that a lot of the contact is going to his right side of his body. This now means that he can use a lot of his momentum to get him to the left side of that tackle and get through to the quarterback. That's exactly what happens, and it leads to yet another sack. Even at 29 years old, after a couple of bad injuries, he's still able to go so quickly and overpower people. He has this great combination of speed and strength, which you really need as an edge rusher, and he absolutely has that. He's one of the best to ever do it, and he's still producing at a high level. And this next play is another good example of him producing at a high level. As you see, this is the blocking concept that New York's going to be running, and they're going to have a tight end one-on-one block JJ Watt, which certainly isn't a great situation. This play is actually pretty simple. The whole goal is to send our halfback up to that right side of the screen. Then, since JJ Watt is an edge rusher, he will naturally creep to the right side of the screen, as that is where his assignment is. Therefore, a tight end can simply just creep to his left, and he'd be in great position to block JJ Watt. Look at what ends up happening here. Watt has such great footwork, he simply just blows by that tight end, and now he's in great position to make a tackle. He ends up sort of missing the tackle. He does actually knock the ball out of the halfback's hands, but I think it's worth mentioning that even if he didn't knock the ball out of the halfback's hands and he just missed the tackle, now there still would have been plenty of time for the other Houston Texans to get in the way to make a tackle. Since that time, the Jets halfback had to wait to try to get around Watt. 1 second is everything in football, so Watt making that play that created an extra second for that play to develop now means that this play has no chance of working for the Jets. And it also helped that Watt was able to knock the ball out, which created a fumble, so there was that as well. This next play is going to be another interesting one, and it's pretty much as standard of a blocking concept as you'll see. All the guards and tackles have one-on-one matchups with the 4 defenders on the line, and then they'll have their center in a zone blocking concept. So notice that this play is a little bit different, as JJ Watt isn't lined up as an edge rusher on this play. However, that doesn't mean he can't still be effective. Ideal hand placement on a play like this would be to put your right hand on JJ Watt's left shoulder pad, and then your left hand on JJ Watt's right pec. However, what Watt's going to do here is actually move down and over to the right side of the screen a little bit. This now means while the Jets right guard can still get a hand on Watt, his left hand has to go a lot further to try to get his ideal hand placement, and really has no chance of working at all. This now means that Watt's entire side of his right body is completely free. So what he's going to do on a play like this is move his entire right arm over his assigned blocker's right hand. This allows him to get past his assigned blocker, and he even gets held a little bit before he's finally able to make a tackle. This really shows how talented Watt is, in my opinion. He's one of the best to ever do it, and he's also one of the best currently doing it.